Translation, O Lord, your semen is the sacrifice called Somayagya. Did I read the previous one? Yes. I didn't. Sorry. So text 37, moreover, O Lord, the repetition of your appearance is the desire for all kinds of initiation. I don't understand that sentence, but your neck is the place for 3 desires, and your tusks are the result of initiation and the end of all desires. Your tongue is the prior activities of initiation. Your head is the fire without sacrifice, as well as the fire of worship, and your living forces are the aggregate of all desires. Text 38. O Lord, your semen is the sacrifice called Somayagya. Your growth is the ritualistic performances of the morning. Your skin and touch sensations are the 7 elements of the Agnishtoma sacrifice. Your bodily joints are symbols of various other sacrifices performed in 12 days. Therefore, you're the object of all sacrifices called Soma and Asoma, and you're bound by yajnas only. Purport. There are 7 kinds of routine yajnas performed by all followers of the Vedic rituals, and they are called Agnishtoma, Atyagnistoma, Ukta, Sodasi, Vajapeya, Atiratra, and Aptoryama. Anyone performing such yajnas regularly is supposed to be situated with the Lord. But anyone who is in contact with the Supreme Lord by discharging devotional service is understood to have performed all different varieties of yajnas. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshuramritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shamate Ramopada Swamariti Namane Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shamate Bhakti Vedanta Swamariti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavare Paschetteleshtarane. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Vancha kalpaturavascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanibhya vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. So we hear a little glimpse of the ritualistic process of worship in the platform of Vaidhi Bhakti. And the dāsa avatars mostly are in platform of awe and reverence. And except for Radha and Krishna, Krishna and Balaram, ete chamsa kalapumsam, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Srila Vyasadeva says that out of all these incarnations listed, Krishna is the fountainhead of all the incarnations. He is the original one. Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. There's no other. He's the first. Srila Prabhupada explains we have identical candles. They both keep the same flame, same light, and same heat. They're identical in every respect. There's slight differences in rasa, but Krishna is the same everywhere. Prabhupada says sometimes when the sahaja tendency is there, we don't want to hear about Krishna's pastimes. Hare Krishna. We don't want to hear about Krishna's pastimes, which are in his dāsa avatars. We only want to hear about the conjugal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And thinking the other ones are lower, then there is a misunderstanding, it's a mistake. Krishna is actually there in all, but it reciprocates differently according to the circumstances created by him, by Yoga Maya, how he wants to be treated. And of course we understand that the highest is Krishna's Goloka Vrindavan pastimes, where he doesn't like to be treated as a king, an emperor, a ruler, and everybody is subordinate to him. But he likes intimacy and likes close friendship, close relationship, very close relationships. So in that sense, in the terms of rasa, it is higher. But in terms of potency, and there's no difference. And so the candles, coming back to the candles, Eti Chamsa Kalapumsam, Krishna Stu Bhagavansam, all the listed incarnations are the same, but still Krishna is the fountainhead, or where it springs about. He's the first one. The first candle lights up the other candles. It's like that. So we can understand in that sense that Krishna is the very first person, and he can incarnate in different avatars. And what is the Ishopanishad verse? Ishavasam. Sorry? Idam sarvam. Huh? It says everything, that the Supreme Lord is whole and complete, and anything or everything emanating from him is also full and complete. So the incarnations coming from Krishna have all the same potencies unlimitedly, just like he has. And therefore we can understand. So Prabhupada warned, many times neophytes want to jump over and hear exclusively about Krishna's Rasa Lila, which is not recommended in a neophyte stage. It's just imitating. Of course, when you get to that Rasa, that level, very advanced level, and then you have no interest in the other rasas, so much so, because they don't feed, your attraction. You're attracted to Radha and Krishna only and their pastimes. We hear the example of the gopis who were searching for Krishna in the forest when Krishna disappeared from the Rasa Lila with Srimati Radharani. So the gopis were searching everywhere. So Krishna transformed into the form of Narayan. And the gopis said, oh, Dandavat, Narayan. Have you seen Krishna? This is Krishna, but if you're not interested in your Narayan form, forearm form, or Arjuna, when Krishna showed him the Virat Rupa, Arjuna was scared. He was bewildered and he was scared. This is too much to handle. Krishna is unlimited. How can we? Even Arjuna was a very advanced personality. Krishna is a good friend. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to him, so we can imagine we cannot compare ourselves. And he was bewildered. He was confused and frightened by this form of Krishna. He saw all universes, everything, planets, demons, demigods, the material elements, gross elements, subtle elements, etc., universes. He's expanding. He's everything, and everything is him. And there's one, I don't know, the younger generation, there was famous rock musician Jimi Hendrix. He put out this record album, and there's the picture of Krishna's Virat Rupa, all these expansions of heads and bodies and forms and universes, and Krishna's in the middle. And so Jimmy, he replaced Krishna's picture with his picture. That was Jimi Hendrix in the middle. Everything emanated from him. And Prabhupada said, Krishna will kill him for this. And Jimmy died of suffocating or drowning in his own vomit, intoxicated. But this is very foolish. And so when Arjuna saw this, he was thinking, this is very, I understand, I got the point, Krishna, but please, change back to your two-horn form as Shyam Sundar. Because that's how I want to see you. And as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we are coming the same line. We want to see Krishna in his two-arm form as Shyam Sundar, playing the flute, his body bent in 3 curves, Tribhanga. And that's the form he wants to see. And nonetheless, when we read about the pastimes of Varāha, this is great, very, very great. We hear the pastimes of different incarnations. Of course, Varāhadeva saved planet Earth from Hiranyaksha, right? And then his brother Hiranyakashipu was destroyed by Nṛsiṁhadeva. Nṛsiṁhadeva is also just the same idea, he's the Almighty Lord. He's so great, he's so vast, he's so powerful, it's so frightening. So how do we Gaudiya Vaishnavas relate to Nṛsiṁhadeva? And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gives us the instruction of his way of worship, his way of thinking of Nṛsiṁhadeva. That Nṛsiṁhadeva, with your nails, right? He killed Hiranyakashipu with his powerful nails. He didn't need any weapon. He is a weapon itself, weapon of mass destruction. With your nails, please destroy the anarthas that are holding me back from coming closer to the service of Radha and Krishna in the Brajabhumi Sri Vrindavan, not in Brajabhumi, in Goloka Sri Vrindavan. So we can, relate to these dāsa avatars. Maybe it's not our bhava, not our, intentional recommended worship, not our desire or how he wants to see. We want to see Krishna. We don't want to see him in his Aishwarya form, but we want to see him in his Madhurya form. Maybe we're not there in the advanced stage, but that is our goal. We have to set a goal. We have a business plan. First, we have to make a plan, different structures, different steps, and you have to set your goal. That's my goal. I want to be a millionaire. For that, you have to do this step and that step. So it's a long way to become a millionaire. And we put that goal in front of us to become an associate of the dance halls of Vrindavan. And it almost sounds impossible. But our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, they all assure us it's not impossible. It's not impossible. But at this stage of life and consciousness, it seems impossible. But we still have to set that goal, maybe far away, but we have to set that goal and make that, strong determination as that we will achieve it in one day. Never mind, we are in a humble beginning at the moment, but we will get there by the mercy of the spiritual masters. There's one devotee he's not in Vrindavan, but this American devotee. He's kind of like a tough guy in his prior to being a devotee. And, he wasn't exactly, controller of his senses. But actually, at one point, he was a sannyasi in his life of devotion. And so he wrote to Srila Prabhupada that Srila Prabhupada, there's 3 ways to get perfection, achieve perfection in spiritual life. One is by Krishna's mercy. The second one is by sadhana bhakti. And the third one is the mercy of the spiritual master. And so the first one to get Krishna's mercy, well, it's, It's kind of like winning the lottery. It's not really a chance, you know. But it's possible. Not impossible, but, it's not. Of course, Krishna is always merciful. But he likes to, make us look uncomfortable in the material world, so we understand this is not a place for enjoyment. So he would just give it to us, freely, without us being convinced that I don't want to stay here anymore, I want to go back to Krishna. It doesn't work like that. Then second, sadhana bhakti, by following the rules and regulations of sadhana. He said to Prabhupada, this is also, it's not going to happen for me. Practically impossible. I tried and tried and tried, with all my might and sincerity. And I can understand I'm very far from the goal. I'm just paraphrasing his letter. But so my only option is that you will give me your mercy, your special mercy, or the causeless mercy, because I don't deserve it. But I know that you're very merciful. Just like Narottam Das Thakur prays, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Daya Koro More, please give me your mercy, that you're sure that you're the fallen of the most fallen. So you're the savior of the most fallen, and I can assure you, I am the most fallen of all of your aspirants. And therefore, my claim is first. So he was writing to Prabhupada like this. And then Srila Prabhupada gave him initiation. And when he gave him these beads, and he said, your name is Guru Kripa Das, which practically means the mercy of the spiritual master, one who benefits the mercy of the spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada is very, very kind. And really, he is our only hope. Our spiritual master is the only hope, and our respected individual spiritual masters. But the Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, is always there, our grand Guru, Param Guru. And we know the grandfather is always kinder to the grandchildren. Because the parents, they have to scold the children and be very careful that they don't go astray and drift away, and, due to bad association or due to their nature. So they have to keep him within a limit and within boundaries. But the grandfather, that's not his rule. Grandfather is always very, I'll buy you candy. I'll buy you a milkshake. I buy you everything you want. Ice cream, take it to the movies. And just give him tons of toys. And so the grandchildren are getting a lot of mercy from the grandparents. And grandparents, they almost say that they love more the children than the regular parents. It's not so, but they have a different kind of affection. And so, maybe Srila Prabhupada is not our spiritual master, but we can expect that if I try my best, then maybe he will throw his sidelong glance of mercy, and we'll get the necessary strength, to go and keep going and reach our business goal. It's not a business goal. It's not. Sounds very materialistic, but our target. And so here, Somayagya, your growth in the ritualistic performances of the morning, your skin and touch sensations are the 7 elements of the Agnishtoma sacrifice, etc., etc. We don't really have much information about this. And that is because we are in Kali Yuga, we are product of this age, and everything was made easy to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who introduced the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, And Srila Prabhupada, who brought the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to the Western world. And by this mantra, we can achieve all the results of these sacrifices and more. Much more. Much more. Much easier, and the result is even better. Srila Prabhupada was talking to a reporter in 26 2nd Avenue in 1966, the very beginning, first weeks and months. And the reporter was asking, so what have you brought from India that we don't have? Why is your religion different from Christianity? What's new about it? What's the difference? And Srila Prabhupada says, I didn't bring anything new, but I came to propagate the cult of Lord Chaitanya, and I brought you something that you already have, but you have forgotten. That is Krishna, God. You have forgotten God. Your churches, your temples are empty. The youth are not inspired because due to the corruption and infiltration of demoniac influences in all the religions of the present age, many scriptures have been, first of all, the man-made, written by men. They say it's inspired by God, but there's no scientific explanation there, only some sentimental and so-called spiritual and mystical explanations who God is, what is spiritual life. So the whole thing is very confusing, and people fight. Different religions fight each other. So Prabhupada said, no, I didn't bring you anything new. I brought you Krishna. You've forgotten Krishna. You already have Krishna. Whether you're Westerner or Indian, doesn't matter. We all have Krishna in our heart. And by chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we will slowly or rapidly clean up, the dust accumulated in the mirror of our mind. The mirror. So when you see the mind wants to look in the mirror, what does he see? He saw a distorted form in the mirror of the mind. What is that distorted form of the self? That is this material body with all of its illusions and misconceptions, misdirected and unlucky, miserable, etc., etc. And we think this is who I am. I identify with this body. So slowly, by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can understand he's not the material body. And sadhu sangha, of course, then shraddha, and bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya means already initiated by a spiritual master who instructs the disciple to perform devotional service, follow sadhana bhakti. By following sadhana bhakti, it's the mirror of the mind, the dust will be cleansed. In sadhana bhakti, we have 64 angas. And the Panch Angam, the top 5 angas, are residing in the Dham. Of course, we reside in the temple. This is also the holy Dham. You have Tulsi Maharani. Where is Tulsi Maharani? Yeah, Tulsi Maharani is here. So if it's said wherever there is Tulsi Devi, I forget the proximity, like 1 mile or something like that, considered to be a holy place like Sri Vrindavan. You can reside in the temple, and this is Dhambas. This is Dhambas. It really depends. You can be in Vrindavan, you can be in Mayapur Dham. But if your mind is not there, then what's the use of being there? And you can live in Denmark or Russia or wherever you are, China, Japan, and be fully immersed, in Krishna consciousness and Krishna's pastimes, and constantly chanting Krishna's name. To the degree you follow the process, you will be in Vrindavan. So it really depends on the mind. And Srila Prabhupada explains it doesn't matter where you are. What matters really where your mind is at. But of course, being in Vrindavan is easier. Being in Mayapur is easier. Why? Because there's so many devotees there who want to be there. And the Dham itself, has that spiritual potency that makes you Krishna conscious. And when we leave the Dham, then we understand that, what the effect is on our consciousness. Then Sadhu Sangha, associating with Vaishnavas, and then studying Srimad Bhagavatam, then Archa Vigraha, and then chanting the holy name. These are the 5 topmost angas of Vaidhi Bhakti. And out of 5, chanting the holy name is the most potent, and it is the most recommended and performed by all of our acharyas who attained perfection. Of course, they were all already perfected beings, but they showed us by example. And but we have so many other sadhakas who achieve perfection by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And the more we chant, the more the dust will be cleansed, and more we come to our constitutional consciousness, original consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada says self-realization and God-realization go hand by hand. It happens simultaneously. It's not a separate thing. So we focus on Krishna. We focus on Krishna by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we will also realize who we are in relation to Krishna. It will happen simultaneously. So that's a different topic. But many of these things we read here, Agnishtoma. What does Agnishtoma means? Routine yagyas. None of us have ever performed any of these yagyas, right? Atyagnishtoma ukta sodasi vajapeya atiratra and aptoryama. Anyone performing such yagyas regularly is supposed to be situated with the Lord. Supposed to be. Well, even then it's not sure. Your mind has to be there. But anyone who is in contact with the Supreme Lord by discharging devotional service is understood to have performed all different varieties of yagyas. So Prabhupada establishes the superior position of devotional service. What does it mean? So here we have yagyas, right? And usually yagyas, it's like a routine performance. It's not, the emphasis of devotion is not emphasized. So the part of devotion is not emphasized. But devotional service, Prabhupada says, what does it mean, devotional service? When we serve Krishna with love and devotion and surrendered consciousness, then we become far superior to the ritualistic ceremonies. We have the example of the wives of the Brahmanas, we read in the Srimad Bhagavatam and Krishna book. That although they were simple women, they didn't know all these complicated mantras and technical yagyas, how to perform and how to hold your finger and what mantras to say and what ingredients to use and long performances. They didn't know any of these rituals, but they simply understood that Krishna and Balaram are the Supreme Lords and we are servants of the Supreme Lord. And so when they came and asked the brahmanas who were performing the yagyas, they said, who are these two boys? Actually, they sent the cowherd boys. And the Krishna and Balaram are hungry. Can you please spare some food? So we want to give them and take it back to them so we can feed them. And they said, we don't have time for this. Don't you see that we are kind of arrogantly? Don't you see we are performing this yagyas? This is to satisfy Vishnu. And this is the highest thing you can do. And don't bother us with these things. Somebody's hungry. They couldn't recognize, you see, the very person they were worshipping. But the simple-minded ladies, the wives of the brahmanas, they said, oh, Krishna and Balaram are hungry. Let's hurry and gather all kind of foodstuffs and cook all kind of preparations because they're hungry. So let us give it to them, to these boys, so they can take it to them. So this is the same example here. Performing such yagyas regularly is supposed to be situated with the Lord. But anyone who is in contact with the Supreme Lord by discharging devotional service is understood to have performed all different varieties of yagyas. Because the ultimate goal of any activities in spiritual life is come to the conclusion of cleansing the heart for all the misconceptions and attain our original spiritual identity. And the one who performs devotional service is already on that platform, just like the wives of the brahmanas. And I think I'm going to stop there. I exhausted all my knowledge. If anybody has any question or comments, this is the time. Yes, Prabhu.
I would like to confirm one point that you were speaking about Jimi Hendrix. And also I heard that the devotees also took the chance to approach Michael Jackson.
Oh.
With books and everything, and then want him to accept the books and help them to spread the books, his name and so forth. And he recommends it easy, thousands of books coming. And he said, yes, no problem, I can do it. But one condition. And then the devotees, were a little excited. And he said, what is the condition? Tell us, we'll try to fulfill. He said, whatever is the face of Krishna, you will put my face in the books.
Oh, wow. I didn't know this detail, but I know that I joined in New York temple in Brooklyn, and the temple president's wife, Rambhadra Prabhu's wife, was Satya. She was a Gurukuli girl, and she was a very good cook, and she ran the restaurant there. And Michael Jackson visited her a few times, and I see pictures, Michael Jackson with her. And he wrote a letter I read, Michael Jackson, and he said that he really likes Krishna consciousness and the books, and Prabhupada is a genuine person, and something to that effect. He was very favorable, and then he was very humble also. Very loving and humble and very respectful to Krishna consciousness. I haven't heard this part yet. But it's true, if he would have propagated Krishna consciousness, there are many blind followers, that would just go with it and get the benefit. I know George Harrison for the Beatles became very favorable. And Srila Prabhupada thought that it is better if he doesn't get initiated. He asked for initiation at one point. Prabhupada says it's better if you don't get initiated. You're already doing great service to me by your preaching, through your music. And, George Harrison passed away, and who knows where he ended up. He's probably definitely getting a human birth, maybe a demigod birth from higher planets. But definitely, for the service he rendered, whatever he has done, doesn't matter. Krishna will only see the good. And Prabhupada will only accept that devotional service very mercifully. And he's probably in a much better place now. And he will definitely get the opportunity of the association of the devotees, just like all of us received this opportunity and we have taken it. That's our good fortune. And so anybody who comes in contact with Krishna consciousness, he will, Shraddha, and then comes Sadhu Sangha, and then comes Bhajana Kriya. So Shraddha really doesn't mean one has faith in Krishna consciousness. It means it has some kind of regard to Krishna consciousness. Let's say, for example, you have seen the Harinam party, or you've seen the devotees' faces, and you thought, oh, these people, they look good, they look happy. There's something about them, there's attractive. The soul can see, finally something genuine, not fake illusion. And so you have some kind of respect. It's not faith, it's just respect. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says regard, And then maybe that's all you get in this lifetime. And that is out of the causeless mercy of the devotees, not because you are qualified. But from that moment, you will get the opportunity to meet, because it's already, you got the piety. You get the piety and to have the continuous association if you keep being favorable, not inimical, you don't commit offenses. But that's how it starts. So George Harrison, he has done more than just being respectful. He wrote the introduction to the Krishna book. He gave the Bhaktivedanta manner to Prabhupada and ISKCON, etc., etc., etc. And he made his famous song, My Sweet Lord, the chanting Hare Krishna, and millions of people heard that song. Many devotees became devotees due to George Harrison. So you can imagine, the pious bhakti punya sukriti, not just pious credit, but he got spiritual piety. And his bhakti points, he got a lot of bhakti points in his spiritual bank account. So and I heard devotees were approaching different personalities on LAX, the Los Angeles airport, and JFK. I think, who was that? Barry White. Some people know. Barry White, something. He gave a donation, told his, because these people walk around with bodyguards and stuff. He told one of his guys, give him a donation to the devotee when he approached him for books. And so this man, he gave him $5 or $10. I said, no, give him 100. So he appreciated him. And then Bob Marley, he received Prabhupada's books. He appreciated Prabhupada's books, and he said he was a genuine spiritual person. Who else? Ramones, that's like a punk rock band. And they have this tall singer called Joey Ramone, right? And they approach him with the book, and he says, no, that's for the Harrison. Etc. I hear so many stories Bhakti Spirits told me, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, they approaches different musicians. I hit up one musician, he was like a Jamaican rapper, reggae, a guy, I forget his name, it's not even important, in New York City. He took a book. these famous personalities, we can use them and engage them in preaching, and they get so much benefit. They get so much benefit. It's good for them, good for us, good for everybody. Win-win situation. So, Michael Jackson Key Jai. Yes?
I want to also when they were on point of initiation of Shanison, was a proper kind of initiation to see once and we suffer purpose. It doesn't need initiation. It's already had his son.
Yeah, Hari's son. Hari is his son. Yes, Prabhu.
Like we talk about the cleaning of heart, and it could be from our previous life, and also this life, because we are in this material world. We have some great thoughts, great responsibility. You meet many people. So my question is like, what we can do to keep our heart, keep cleaning and remain, come to the Sachinanda, our original form.
You meaning how to be in the material world and perform your duties and at the same time you cleanse you? It's like a returning question. How to strike a balance between material life and spiritual life? This is usually, my Guru Maharaj gets this question a lot from Grihastha families who live outside, And we have to perform our duties, material duties, but we have to sort of like have this idea or practice that we look at our material life from the external point of view. This is happening, and externally I will tell my wife I love you, etc. But really, our love is for Krishna. And we love our wives and son and everything. There's nothing wrong with that, but we cannot genuinely love them unless we love Krishna. And they are Krishna's representative. They are here because Krishna sent them to us, or he sent us to them, either for purification and see that, this material world is no fun. There's so many divorce rates in ISKCON. Do you know that? There's higher divorce rate than the Karmi life in ISKCON. And I was thinking, well, devotees are very pious souls. Why are there so much suffering? And Krishna doesn't like you to be comfortable here. You see, I'm going to set up shop here. I'm a devotee, but, really I want to enjoy material life. He doesn't like it. Then he destroys your material life. And that's this special mercy. So you accept these difficulties in material life, and how can I, perform my sadhana and perform my materialistic duties at the same time? And Krishna shows you that, they don't go well together. They don't go well together. And yes, I do have to endure, all the suffering and difficulties and tribulations and disappointments, etc., etc. The list goes on, But why? Because Krishna is showing me that, please, don't stay here. This is no fun here. Come back to me. And we cannot just get out of it suddenly, escape, unless, you're genuinely a sannyasi. But if you're not sannyasis yet, then you have to keep on going. Sometimes you have to bite the bullet. You understand the expression? Yeah. The army soldiers, when they performed instant surgery on the battlefield, to treat your wound, they give him a bullet. So they bite on the bullet to somehow ease the pain. So you bite the bullet, keep going. Material life is no fun. Don't think this is an unjust situation. This is exactly what we need. Krishna has given us everything we can handle. and come out of the other side after a difficulty in a better consciousness, in a better position. You know? We may not see the light of the end of the tunnel. We just see the darkness and the difficulties. But when so many times, it happened to me also, you're accused of false things, humiliated, etc. This goes on. Krishna makes your life difficult in a, so-called unjust, way. But really it's for, he sees the long term, he sees the bigger picture. We see the small picture. Oh, my life, my reputation, my enjoyment, my security, etc., our comfort zone. Krishna just kicks you out, kicks your butt. Get out of your comfort zone and don't try to set up shop here, then you're going to live here comfortably and happily. So these difficulties are there, and they're good for us. And at the same time, we always understand spiritual life is more important than material life. Externally, we perform our duties, but internally, we cultivate our consciousness, dedicate our consciousness to Krishna, our spiritual master. So.
Because I was listening to same consciousness, because we are consciousness. So when we wake up, we observe each other, and so that's why we never die. Soul never die. So the consciousness is everywhere.
Yeah.
But when you are in the body,
there's no other.
I want to see out my consciousness. Say, okay, you have
No,
to go out.
for a better alternative, which is a spiritual alternative, we have to accept this material life. And our minds thinking, oh, this is it. This is my wife, this is my son, this is my house, this is my job, this is my car. And this is my life. What else is there? This is it. This is reality. So it's very difficult to overcome, but we can overcome it. Constantly chant Hare Krishna. That's the best process. Prabhupada says, by chanting Hare Krishna, one will understand we are not this material body. We will understand. We will understand. But as long, already you're entrapped in this material body, and as long it will be encaged in the body, suffering will be there. Suffering in terms of dualities, happiness, distress, no peace. No peace. So there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. You have to accept it, and titikshava, karunika, tolerate it. That's the ornament, the sadhu bhushanam. That's the ornaments of a sadhu. That it tolerates the material world and tapasya, austerities. Material life is an austerity, very difficult, especially in Kali Yuga.
Can I just ask the same one question? When you say peace, what do you mean by peace?
What is it? Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhikami, Sarvakama, Ashanta. What is it? Krishna Bhakta, Nishkama, Ataiva Shanta. He says that the bhukti, the material enjoyer, the fruity workers, the mukti, the impersonalist, and the siddhi, those who are the yogis. Seemingly they're all on the spiritual path, but they're full of material desires. What are those desires? I want this, I want that. I want this siddhi, I want that siddhi. The impersonalist, I want to be free from suffering, free from liberation. They want to get liberated. And therefore, because these desires are coming, sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't get it. Like I said, dualities, it's just, there's no peace there. Always, I need to get this, I need to get, just let the karma, the mukti, bhukti. They want enjoyment. Okay, I need to work this much more. I'm going to get this car. I'm going to get this. And all these desires always bothering you, never let you in peace. But it says, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama. He has no material desires. All my desires are for Krishna. Therefore, he's peaceful. He has no worries. What are your worries? Oh, the battery ran out of my phone. I can't listen to a Krishna book. What a big... the material... the karmic people, there's war going on. Yeah? Natural catastrophes, so many. We have very no problems, very little problems that we think there are problems. But they're facing harsh difficulties, karmic people. As devotees, if you surrender to Krishna, you gave up your life and didn't surrender or don't surrender to the material desires anymore, then they leave you alone. Then you're peaceful. That's what peace means. Nishkama. He has no lust. Lust doesn't mean, desire for sex. Lust means desire for money, for a reputation, name and fame, wealth, followers. We don't need these things. If we get them, we give it to Krishna. But not for me. But when you have the desire for me, me, it's never enough. It's never enough, You gain some money, and then you think, oh, I can get more. And then I can buy this, and I can do this with the money and that, and it's just endlessly expending, and it's never enough, and you're never satisfied. No satisfaction, no peace. Therefore, devotees were able to give up. How are you able to give it up? By understanding everything belongs to Krishna. I give everything to Krishna. I work for Krishna, and it's all for him. Then you'll see that you'll be very peaceful. Very peaceful. Yes, Prabhu.
When you turn that around, like you make money, but like Srila Prabhupada, he had so much money.
Yeah.
So doesn't it turn around the desire? So you have the same kind of attachment?
It's like where you misdirected or directed properly.
Yeah.
Somebody said to Srila Prabhupada that in our village, this is an Indian gentleman, in our village there is this sadhu, this Guruji. So whenever he sees money, his hands automatically go behind his back, like he doesn't need money. Oh, he's so saintly. And Prabhupada said, well, I see money, my hand goes like this. Give me more. Because I use it for Krishna's service. Not like artificially, I have this is just fake. No, this is a false renunciation. Real renunciation is yukta vairagya. We use everything in Krishna's service. We understand it. We all understand this. So Prabhupada says, no, my hand's going like this. Okay. More? Yes.
Confirming your point about something that also you should have like clear vision what you should do, when you should do, how you should do, etc. And there was in the 60s or 70s, I don't remember exactly, there was one German swimmer, and she decided to cross Canal La Manche,
Mm-hmm.
and by swimming.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And when she came out on the show, there was like reporters and this and that. Why you didn't finish it? You were so close. That I couldn't see anything. I didn't see my goal. That's the reason. I didn't know where I am, how much I have.
Yeah.
1 year, 2 years, 5, 10.
The point I was making is that there is no satisfaction in simply fulfilling one's desires, because fulfilling one's desires does not involve Krishna, and there will be no satisfaction. We can only be happy with Krishna, and Krishna is involved. And when Krishna is involved, even though we don't get anything, so to say, but in reality we get everything. That everything is Krishna. Krishna is everything. And when you get everything, they have no desires left for anything else. Simple logic, but that's how it works. Anything else? Okay. Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.